wrong. It's the same. Never mind. Symmetrical. Frankercy.
Well, and also, you guys haven't fixed this,
Game
I'm pretty
resumed.
sure, which means that cannon rushes are possible.
Yes, they are. I don't know if you want to fix it though. To be honest.
No, because that was actually available. That was actually doable in original Brood War map.
Oh, if man, it looks like some. Maybe the map maker has done something here. Well, yeah, no, cannon there, and no, yeah, I mean pylon. No, it's still doable. It just
Yes.
looked. It seems doable. I had to go into the map editor to check with like the grid and everything, but it seems doable.
I mean, I got to like C level Icy Cup only doing this build.
No, that's so sickening. You know, I busted my butt off trying to get to C minus in Icy Cup, and as soon as I got into C minus, especially if it was towards the end of the season, I just stopped playing. So it would say C minus.
Yeah, you'd never ladder once you get to yellow. You
Yes.
just don't touch that account ever.
No.
You touch that,
It's
you're
there.
stupid.
Yes, it's gonna bump back to D plus. So yeah,
You
and
don't want that to happen.
I remember like probably losing 3-4 games in a row, having really long games, and finally like a long. I remember playing Zerg, having a long macro game versus Terran with like Lurker, Defiler, Ultra, everything, and winning. Oh, winning such a game is just the best feeling in the world.
I mean, that's why the games with that allows comebacks more often is really rewarding to some of the players because game like StarCraft 2, yes, it's a great game, and a lot of people should enjoy StarCraft 2. But at times, I feel like there's a 2% missing because after one battle, it's really hard to come back. But there are games in Starbow, there are games in StarCraft Brood War, where even if you lose one huge engagement, there's still ways to come back into the game, and if you can pull it off, then you just start throwing your keyboard, your mouse around, and go like, "Oh my God, I just did that. I'm a pro
Yeah,
gamer now."
yeah. I mean, the high ground advantage and a lot of other things make it possible for comebacks, and it's always so fun to see. That's why I was secretly rooting for the Red Bandit in that last game we saw because I was like, I want him to be able to come back from this. We are seeing a lot more conservatism from both of the players. It seems that no, Heusa was still going for a fairly early pool, but it's not going to accomplish much more than just gaining an early map control with this build. rsvp going for pretty much the same thing. I would like to see him try and mix it up, maybe go for like a Reaver drop or some Sentinel play or
Yeah.
maybe some Corsairs instead of the 2-gate Zealot pressure every game. Try and mix it up a little. That would be interesting.
And it's gonna be a little bit harder on a map like Fighting Spirit where they actually spawn cross positions because it's gonna take a lot longer time for the Zealots to get across the map. Now, in the opening, RSVP actually scattered with 2 probes instead of 1 probe. The reason behind this is 1, if he sees the 6 gate, then he can actually wall off the, not 6 gate, what am I talking about, 6 pole, then he can wall off the natural completely before the Zerglings arrive. And 2, if he sees hatchery first, then he can actually cheese his opponent completely by going for a cannon rush behind the mineral line at the natural. Yes, you can fit 2 pylons and a cannon on this
Yes.
map.
Can and also of course doing just what he did right now, seeing that third hatch, he knows he's not going to get Hydra busted. He doesn't have to add on a lot of cannons. That one extra probe he sent out has definitely paid for itself, because there was potential resources that he might have lost adding a lot of defenses because he would have been unsure of what was going on. He's now very sure what's going on. What Heusa could do of course is throw up a Hydra den and just cancel this hatchery and try and play some mind games, but that's not very likely to happen.
And interestingly, like you said, you have to mix in your build. You have to mix your build from time to time. Knowing that the Zealot aggression is not going to work against Heusa, RSVP is switching it up and he's going for Stargate this game.
And choosing to upgrade the Nexuses now, which is quite late, and it's very interesting too.
Yeah.
Upgrading those Nexuses is an expense, and it's not like getting an orbital command in StarCraft 2. You just do that right away because the mule just pays for itself right away. Upgrading the orbitals and the Nexuses here are not necessarily something you want to do right off the bat. You might want to wait a little bit. There might be reasons because they don't pay for themselves right away, and depending on your game plan, you might want to time those out differently.
Yeah, well, players are still trying to figure out what is the most optimal build. Remember, it's just like starting out StarCraft 2 as soon as it came out.
Yeah.
Yes, Starbow has been here for a long while, but the patches have been made, and there have been units being added in. So it's just like, trying to experiment. Oh, is this the best build? Is that the best build? Do I want the pylon before this, or do I want it after the assimilator? So on and so forth.
Yes. And nice catch for Heusa there, getting the Zealot. New Zealot on the way, +1 on the way, and he's getting Sentinels right off the bat and not
Yeah.
Corsairs. Very interesting.
And also, I'm not too sure if making this many circles is actually worth it. Yes, there is a probe at the natural, but the Sentinel and the Cannon can easily block off the Zerglings that are trying to get into the main base right now. As these Zerglings, yes, they're gonna go inside the main base, but how many have been killed so far? Like 10?
Quite a lot. There's been
Quite
13 units killed for Protoss. And you saw the Chronobus on the cannon there doing so much more effective job killing the Zerglings as well. I really like all the little things RSVP was doing there. Making the pylon, blocking with the probe, Chronobusing the photon cannon, keeping the Sentinel, every single thing doing right to make sure as few of those Zerglings coming in as possible. And Sentinel already with 6 kills under his belt.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to go for the attack, but the commitment was not worth it. I guess he was expecting some more heavy Zealot aggression, because what happened in game number 1, but those Zerglings pretty much did nothing. Those could have been all drones right there. And he would have a lot better economy at this point. Spore Coil is going up because he saw the Sentinels, and the Enrage is going to put the Sentinel away from the third base. However, he does have a second Sentinel, and the third Sentinel is out on the way. What is one good thing about having a lot of Sentinels out on the field?
Actually, null wards do stack very nicely. So if you get a lot of... I actually remember a game, it might be a little bit different now because it was a while ago, the stats may have changed, but I remember a game where I had 7 null wards going off on a group of Mutalisks once, and they just slaughtered every single Mutalisk in one big hit. And things like that can happen. Now these Sentinels will not be too useful now because of the Hydra transition from Heusa, but he got a couple of null wards off there. Sorry, I missed that from the couple of Hydralisks. Getting that little damage in is always good. The null wards are very good at zoning out units, zoning out reinforcements. They don't really kill armies, but they are a more intricate way of harassing.
Yeah, well, certainly they're trying to do their job as the DTs are moving out on the map. However, I'm not too sure if transitioning right into the DTs after showing a Sentinel is a great idea, because Heusa saw the Sentinels, it's really natural for him to build up spores. Spores can detect against the DTs, which means that these DTs are not going to do much when Heusa has the units in right position. And this High Templar is exposed. Is it going to go down? No, the Sentinel and the Zealot save it at the very last second.
Oh, he hasn't even started Storm Research, it seems. So this High Templar is going to be dead weight for a long time. In the meantime, the DTs are in the base and they're not attacking anything crucial here. I think the DTs were just thwarted off here completely. No, they're actually checking for expansions elsewhere, but he's actually almost forced to cancel on that hatchery. He needs to get out of detection range from that Spore Crawler. Detection range, I mean, not the detection rage that is coming on.
That could also mean one thing, but right now, we look at this. We look at dirt base over here. RSVP trying to take a third base, but there's a Zergling over there already denying it. While RSVP, his plan was to take a third base while moving out on the map to keep the pressure so that his third base goes up really safe. However, because of the Zergling, it's going to get denied for a few seconds, but it's not too crucial to a point where he's going to lose the game, just because his third base has been delayed for a couple of seconds.
Now, for those of you new to Starbow, the Sentinel that you see flying around is actually a unique unit to Starbow. It's the only unit in Starbow which is not in Brood War nor in StarCraft 2. We actually made the unit before Heart of the Swarm, so some people would say it's the Oracle of Starbow, and it kind of is, but we did not make it because StarCraft 2 has an Oracle. And Storm is just... Yeah, it was there before. It was a little bit different though, and then it was gone for a little bit, and then it came back, and things like that happens when you make a game. But the idea of a Sentinel has been there before the Oracle, and we wanted to add something extra to the Stargate. All the other races got extra spellcasters and stuff.
Oh, it goes for the unpunched Muta.
Oh, it only got the one.
It
is possible. It is possible to turn off. Or to manually detonate. Oh, he's gonna get this High Templar who's been on the map for so long with so much energy and never got any storms out with 170 energy High Templar. That's such a nice cap. And none of the High Templars now have energy, but they very soon have, and so you're gonna see the storm.
Yeah, now he has energy for the storm. But while he's freshing over here, the Mutas can actually go towards the third base and wipe out the Nexus over there. Or he could just try to go inside the main base. Remember, RSVP, after building a Sentinel, he did not go for the courses whatsoever, so now he's only relying on the Stalkers and the Archons to deal against the Mutant Spot, which is painful. But Heusa not paying attention. These Zealots are going to get a perfect surround on these Hydras, and pretty much half of them melt before Heusa pays attention at the last second. But these Mutants are working on some of the units inside the main base, but because of one great Archon shot, he is forced out of there.
But those Mutalisks was a really nice addition. They're forcing those nice high energy, high Templars to merge into Archons and then attacking with the Hydras. If he had only paid attention to the Hydralisks when the Zealots were coming in from the flank, I think Heusa would have been in a much better position. Oh, and those Null Wards can do a lot of damage. They're so damaged, these. Oh, clumping up so much, and he can pick up so many now, and they're slowed down as well with the Blink Stalkers. Stalkers doing a lot of damage to light units.
Man,
very good. Oh, and don't want to fly over there.
You just want to run away. You don't want to go engage once again. And I have a feeling a lot of people are going to hate me for making a League of Legends reference, but that looked like that no word really reminds me of Karma. Just hitting that thing, hitting a nice AoE damage, and slowing them down. I really like no word and the usage of it. It's not really easy to put it down, and it's really hard for them to hit. But once it hits, it's so great for the Protoss player.
You can actually set it to not automatically detonate.
That too.
As well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think if you just like throw in one unit, they're always going to lose all the Mutalisks. But these Banelings, well, they can do a number on the Zealots. I don't know how well they will do versus these Stalkers. They're also Stalkers are not do not have a very high HP, but they are quite more mobile to dodge. Ooh, almost killing. Oh, 3 workers. It seemed like a lot more was stacked, but it's getting the hatchery as well. And rsvp in general is just taking this game back. I felt he was a little bit behind earlier, but now he is getting ahead.
Well, that is also because of the Hydras that he lost, because he was in a great position, but the micro, the perfect surround on all of the Hydras when Heusa was not paying attention, that just allowed rsvp to get into perfect position. He had enough Stalkers out. The Archons were getting a free shot on the Mutants once Heusa was paying attention to the Hydra, so I have a feeling this was more of Heusa paying attention to the wrong screen at the wrong time for this game.
I'd love to see one Sentinel glare there just to get rid of some creep trimmers, but yeah, I didn't do that. But that's just a cute little thing. The Sentinel has a detection ability, which is a channeling ability, so the longer you use it, the more energy it will take. And now, oh, he had an Observer on the way, so there was no point in doing that. Observer doesn't cost any energy to use. That would be horrible.
That would be really
Throwing up a lot of Null Wards here so he can have a nice safe retreat path. We have a lot of Scourges incoming. He wants to kill those pesky Sentinels who's been harassing him the whole game. A lot of Stalkers.
Which is going to be good, but you also have to realize that he's spending a good amount of gas getting those Scourges out, and if those don't hit, then the Stalkers and the Archons can wipe out the Scourges so easily in this game, and nice Null Wards hitting some of those units in the front. But however, that's all Heusa wanted to do, send a few units, see what his opponent has, and see if he can actually push out on the map, or if he should just stay inside the main base.
And just Null Wards plus Storm is so strong because Null Wards slow down the units. They cannot move out of the Storm as easily as you would like. And the Null Wards stay there for a full 2 minutes in game time, so they zone out areas quite nicely. But they're not infinite like a Spider-Man is. They do die after a while.
I feel like that was a little bit of a mistake of Heusa after losing the Hydra to allow rsvp to get into such position, because some people might be saying, you know what, Null Ward is too strong, and he's actually going to try to attack into it, actually gets one of the Null Wards. Nice Storm going down on the Hydras, that's going to force Heusa back. That is something that rsvp has in PvZ. He has amazing Storms, perfectly placed Storms when his opponent tries to push out on the map.
And is rsvp going to try and cross this bridge, or is no? He's just gonna stay outside. He's gonna slowly try and win this game. He's not gonna gamble it and just run in there. And Null Wards do not detonate on Changelings. I think they did in the past, but we changed that. So you cannot trick Null Wards with Changelings. And a couple more Hydras taking some Null Wards. And even though Null Wards, they're not like Spider-Man's with Amazing Splash and just kills up units straight. It's still just energy for these Sentinels, and they are paying for themselves eventually.
Also, you do have to realize that rsvp, he doesn't need to attack here. All he needs to do is sit over here, just eat some popcorn, just go out, grab some dinner. Only Storm when his opponent pushes out, because he is taking a fort base behind this. He knows that his opponent does not have a fort hatchery behind this. So he knows that he is ahead in the game, and he is really in a comfortable position compared to game number 1, where his Zealot attack did not work, and his opponent just pressed on for the attack and the win.
Now, I was going to say, Heusa sending out some units to harass, but the units he's sending out to harass is a drone because he doesn't even know about this base, but now he does. He was going to try and take it himself, it seems. Or maybe that drone was just completely misplaced. But we're going to have Stalkers trying to... No, rsvp a little bit indecisive if he wants to try and attack or just stay outside. He's taking the 4th base, like he said, so he doesn't really have to, but he really wants to, and I can understand that.
Now this time he needs to be careful because 1, there's a Night Swarm. The Night Swarm going down. 2, Consume is finished, which means that these Dark Swarms can do a lot of coverage for these Hydras and the Zerglings over here, but he still needs to be careful because crossing this bridge means that he needs to get into a small choke where rsvp can storm all the units.
So many defilers. He has not have Plague researched yet, but he can Plague this whole army once it is. And Plague on Stalkers, I think, is quite effective.
Yeah, well,
here
you
we
can try to go
Dark.
for additional Plague, but it's not going to be in range. However, now he is pushing out on the map. The High Templars are not in position. Nice Storm dodge this time around. The second Storm actually hits a lot of Hydras, and those are Hydras just melting to all the Storms over there. No Plague whatsoever. The Dark Swarm is helping out at this point, and that's going to allow Heusa to push back. But how many Storms are left for our Protoss player? Seems like he has too many units for Heusa to deal with, so Heusa actually pulling back into his natural, and there's Dark Swarm once again. Nice coverage away from the Stalkers and the Dragoons, but the Zealots are doing a lot of damage below the Dark Swarm, and it seems like that's going to be it as rsvp has broken the bridge, he has broken the natural defense, and now the natural hatchery is gone.
Yeah, and yeah, this will be very difficult for precision from Heusa to come back from here, and GG.